Presents Barack Message for American Students. 김미경의 영어챌린지 시즌2 Day 1. When I was young, my family lived overseas. I lived in Indonesia for a few years. And my mother, she didn't have the money to send me where all American kids went to school. But she thought it was very important for me to keep up with an American education. So she decided to teach me extra lessons by herself, Monday through Friday. But because she had to go to work, the only time she could do it was at 4:30 in the morning. 김미경과 영어 챌린지 시즌 2 Barack Obama commencement speech day 2 and day 3. Now, as you might imagine, I wasn't too happy about getting up that early. A lot of time, I fall asleep right there at the kitchen table. But whenever I complained, my mother would just give me one of those looks and she said, "This is no picnic for me either, Buster." So I know that some of you are still adjusting to being back at school. But I'm here today because I have something important to discuss with you. I'm here because I want to talk with you about your education and what is expected of all of you in this new school year. Hello, day 4 and day 5. I've given a lot of speeches about education. I told about responsibility a lot. I told about teacher responsibility for inspiring students and pushing it around. I told about your parents' responsibility for make sure you stay on track and get your homework done and don't spend your waiting time in front of the TV or with the Xbox. Day 6. Unless you show up to the school, unless you pay attention to those teachers, unless you listen to your parents, grandparents, and the others, and put in the hard work it takes to succeed. That's what I'm going to focus on today. The responsibility each of you has for your education. I'm going to start with the responsibility you have to yourself. Barack Obama commencement speech day 7. Every single one of you has something that you're good at. Every single one of you has something to offer. And you have a responsibility to yourself to discover what it is. That's the opportunity an education can provide. Maybe you could be a great writer, maybe even good enough to write a book or article in a newspaper, but you might not know it until you write that English paper, that English class paper that's assigned to you. Bonjour, bonsoir. Vous avez passé une bonne journée? Je vais commencer mon speech d'aujourd'hui. Day 8. Maybe you could be an innovator or inventor, maybe even good enough to come up with the next iPhone or medicine or vaccine, but you might not know it until you do your project for your science class. Maybe you could be a mayor or a senator or a Supreme Court justice, but you might not know that until you join student government or the debate team. Merci, bonne soirée. Bonjour à tous, ça va? Vous allez bien? Je vais bien, merci. I'm gonna start my speech day 9. And no matter what you want to do with your life, I guarantee that you need an education to do it. You wanna be a doctor, or a teacher, or a police officer? You wanna be a nurse, or an architect, a lawyer, or a member of our military? You're gonna need a good education for every single one of those careers. You cannot drive out of the school and just drive into a good job. You gotta train for it, and work for it, and learn for it. Bonjour à tous, ça va? Je vais commencer mon speech day 10 and day 11. And this isn't just important for your own life and your own future, but you make your education will decide nothing less than the future of this country. The future of America depends on you. What you're running a school today will determine whether we as a nation can meet our greatest challenge in the future. You need a knowledge and problem-solving skills you run in science and math to cure disease like cancer and AIDS, to develop new energy technologies and protect our environment. You'll need insights and critical thinking skills you gain in history and social studies to fight poverty, homelessness, crime and discrimination, and make our nation more fair and more free. You'll need the creativity and ingenuity you develop in all your classes to build new companies that create new jobs and boost our economies. We need every single one of you to develop your talent and your skills and your intellect so you can help us all folks solve our most difficult problems. If you don't do that, if you quit on school, you're not just quitting on yourself, you're quitting on your country. Now I know it's not always to do well in school. I know a lot of you have a challenge in your life right now that can make it hard to focus on your schoolwork. I get it. I know what it's like. My father left my family when I was 2 years old, and I was raised by a single mom who had to work and struggle at times to pay the bill and wasn't always able to give us the thing that the other kids had. There are times when I missed a father in my life. There are times when I was lonely and felt like I didn't fit in. So I wasn't always as focused as I should have been on school. And I did something I'm not proud of. I got in more trouble than I should have. And my life could have easily taken a turn for the worse. But I was lucky. I got a lot of second chances and the opportunity to go to college and law school and follow my dreams. My wife, our First Lady Michelle Obama, she has a similar story. Neither of her parents had gone to college, and they didn't have a lot of money. But they worked hard, she worked hard, so that she could go to best school in this country. Some of you might not have that advantage. Maybe you don't have others in your life who give you the support that you need. Maybe someone in your family has lost your job and there's not enough money to go around. Maybe you live in a neighborhood where you don't feel safe or have friends who are pushing you to do things aren't right. But at the end of the day, the circumstances of your life, what you look like, where you come from, how much money you have, what you got going on at home, none of that is an excuse for neglecting your homework or having a bad attitude in your schools. That's no excuse for talking back to your teacher or cutting class or dropping out of school. There's no excuse for not trying. Where you are right now doesn't have to determine where you end up. No one's leading your destiny for you. Because here in America, you write your own destiny. You make your own future.